and I had the chance to participate to an important number of general assemblies and meetings at EUNIC Global, but also with our cluster in Romania. That I have this honor to held the presidency in June this year. Thank you once again for this meeting, and very glad to be here.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like just to say a few words about the work that the cluster has done. I mean, the richness that it has created in the cultural scene in New York. Individually, each one of the cultural centers presents gives New York throughout the year different perspectives from Europe, different cultural artists, and we're one of the most active clusters. I'm not sure if I was saying it wrong, but I want to believe it so. Because we work together as a team, and everyone sees EUNIC New York as a part of a team and as a group that merges together and creates culture in New York. That was it. I'm now, since Mr. President spoke, I would like to invite anyone to ask questions to Mr. President.
Yes, I would want to add
yes, I'm sorry.
some words. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. And once again, I'm very glad to have this meeting, and I am glad to have any opportunity to meet the clusters, because it's our main activity, like you know better than me. I have 1 month before the chance to meet the Tokyo cluster, another important cluster like here in New York, but still smaller than New York is one. I had the occasion to participate to different meetings in Europe, and I was glad to participate to the regional European meeting. And I tried to this short time when I have this honor to be president of EUNIC to meet with colleagues in the network, because I think it's very important to ensure a better communication between this level of general assemblies, heads, EUNIC Global, so to say, and the clusters that are our main activity. I think, and I really believe in the power of EUNIC through this double capacity, the 140 clusters, and on the other hand, 39 member organization. And I think that if we will know that we are already doing a great job, and if we will know to maybe speak better on one common voice, our role will be even bigger than present. I want to thank you for the activity that you have here. I will have this introductive word, but I really want to have the chance of the dialogue, not to disturb the cluster meeting and your schedule, but maybe to have a dialogue. For me, it will be very useful. And to say that I think you have here many opportunities. It's the case, of course, also for our branch here in New York. It's the case of the cluster, because United States of America, New York is a very offering cultural scene. I think it's very important scene for many of us, or for all of us, from a European perspective, from a cultural perspective. And that's also we have many challenges, because it's also a very competitive scene. And together we have the chance to introduce our artists, our representatives in different occasions, maybe better than we can succeed on our own. And can think together, maybe starting from you better than from me or for any other colleague, to think also in time to a dedicated bilateral program between UNIC and United States. I think and I know that we at the UNIC level, my colleagues did discuss this in past, and maybe it's a theme that we can reopen in the future. That we can have in each continent special bilateral program, so to say. But why not start and to be have a pilot here in the United States from obvious reasons. Like I said, I don't want to have a long speech, but I'm open to discuss about our mechanisms, programs like the UNIC Cluster Fund and so on. But maybe I let you the chance to open this discussion. Thank you very much.
Anyone would like to start?
I'd love to hear what you think the bilateral program could look like. For example, with who in the US could we think about partnering? Like, what's some of the thoughts that have happened? So I realize it's early, but you said that maybe it had been done before, so maybe I'm just curious what has happened in the past and what could happen.
I launched this discussion in informal meetings with my colleagues, and I know that they did have this discussion before. They didn't have a decision before of a program dedicated for each country. It's not really not my role to say right now who will be the best partner, especially in different institutional architecture like is the United States in comparison with the European ones, with ministries and so on. Also my presence here is in this context because I thought it's really important receiving this invitation to be part of the ISPA conference, to be part of APAP meetings with this occasion. And I think there are big themes that could be important also for, like I said, for European artists, for European professionals. And that's we have a double opportunities in this example, but of course in many others partnerships that we could think about it. Also for our organization, but also to facilitate the contacts between specific organizations from our countries. I don't know, theaters, different institutions, theaters in this case, museums, cultural centers, with European partners. To have a personal opinion on this issue, so this doesn't involve a UNIC, but is a personal opinion. I think that bilateral program, for example, a program of residencies that could be European and having a European selection with a number of artists and with important that could be organized and developed in partnership with the institution from here, could be for interest, but this is
we have I think we had a very good meeting at the City Hall this morning with the Commissioner for Culture. And I think UNIC was mentioned, of course, obviously very often. And Liviu has made a case for things that I have informed him that are very important for us, like partnership with local organizations, access, doing things together, financing things together, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the response and the conversation you had this morning about this.
Yes, the response was very favorable. I think, of course, I'm glad to establish this context, but now I pass to you the goal. But I think they were very interested, responsive. They mentioned different programs that also they have, and between their priorities, if I'm not wrong, they mentioned also this idea of residencies, common residencies between representatives from United States and from other countries. My answer to you wasn't directly connected to this meeting. I really do think that this could be a way to develop our activity, but this was also part of the feedback that we received today at this meeting. And I think that we can maintain hot this connection that we had today, because we discussed about 2 hours there. I really think that it wasn't just a formal meeting, but a very intense one. And again, here you are, you know better than me, but I think this is a very competitive cultural scene, and will be from anyone.
With Jose's permission, I'm gonna send you the minute from the meeting, because it's gonna be sent to us very shortly, and maybe you can circulate it among our colleagues so that they see what was discussed there, and especially about I'll be in touch with you.
I have a question about the work of the EUNIC organization or the office in Brussels. I know from the regional seminar we had that also advocacy towards the EU institutions is part of the work of EUNIC Global. So I'd be curious to hear if there's any initiatives or any projects planned in this field, is it where you advocate for European cultural initiatives and institutions towards the EU institutions in Brussels?
Yes, we tried and we succeed in some initiatives to open dialogue with European institutions in this new context of new teams in every place. We had some important meetings also in open plenary during the General Assembly in December with the President of the Cult Commission from the European Parliament, with the Director from the DG the department, that we had also a meeting more intense at the board level 1 month ago. We still trying to have an official discussion at the Commission level, because the timing wasn't perfect. They were just in the process of hearing the new commissioners when we had the General Assembly. But I think it's a very intense period also from this perspective, because to be very honest and to speak frankly, I think we have some opportunities and some risks regarding the new approach regarding the culture. I think it's very important to pledge and to lobby for the maintaining of some programs that are exclusively dedicated to culture, not in a large perspective of education and so on. On the other hand, I really hope that also the European Commissioner and also the Vice President that by chance is from Romania, the Commissioner is from Malta, will be, I don't know how to say, not only interested, but we will be active in this field because will be for mutual interest from their perspective. I mentioned also the Romanian Vice President having direct link with the European Commissioner on Culture. So with our colleagues from Brussels, of course, Andrew Manning, the director, is the best person in charge here, and I know he is in contact with all of them, and now we discussed maybe to be also with me present here, but finally he decided from various reasons not to come in the United States. He was last year here, and now yesterday it was he participated to the official opening of the Polish presidency at the European level. So we try with every occasion to I don't know how to say, not to have contact, but we do have this to better pledge for our role in connection with the European Union. And I think we really are a very important partner, a very useful partner. This is just one of the reasons that I think that it's important to maintain. And again, it's a personal opinion, but it's an opinion that I express also when I presented my my speech to the General Assembly when I was elected in this position. Of course, that is definitory, not important, definitory for our organization, the cluster autonomy. Of course, that for each of us, we decide at the national level what program we do and how we organize our activity. But if we will know better to use this extraordinary network, maybe to I don't know, just to share in the same time important project, for example, I think that our visibility will grow, and this will advocate also for in our discussion at European level.
On that note, just maybe the other cultural centers have the same experience, but Camera Institute, one of their priorities is always the projects by EUNIC, clusters around.
Yes.
Just one question, maybe there was more kind of talks about the visa issue that we all have, here with the artists, and I know that at the European level in Brussels, there was talks, together with the American partners, how to ease, this process and maybe to have something, because every one of us, we having always issues to bring the performing artists, musicians, theater, and so on, because of these issues. The main thing why we cannot do this. So maybe this bilateral program has something that if there would be, connection with some institutions here, that we will work on that we, as a cluster, for example, present something, and then to bring some artists here. I know it's one of the most painful, questions for so maybe something is going on, I don't know.
I have two parts of an answer to this. For start, once again, I want to clarify this. This idea is just a challenge that I offer to you. The idea to having a program. We didn't discuss on the table this subject, and I think from the American clusters and from New York cluster maybe could come such a concrete proposition. And on the other hand, this is again something a little bit more theoretical. UNIC has grown in the last years a lot. It started like an association of cultural institutes. Now we have, like I said, 39 members. We have cultural institutes. We have ministries of foreign affairs, Ministry of Culture. There are different situations in each country. For example, in case of Romania, we are in contact and we collaborate with the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but we are an autonomous organization that is under the control of the Senate, so it's not governmental. So we are not so involved in the policy activity, but more in the project activity. Of course, we have a channel of communication with the Romanian institutions, but I think that at global level, so to say, we can learn to cooperate more with all our powers. So instead asking ourselves how to deal with different approaches, because I'm a cultural institute and you are a ministry and so on, maybe to learn how we can together have same approaches and goals, because maybe from the experience or from the approach of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from France, I can send or I can lobby to the Ministry of Culture in Romania, although it's not a part of UNIC, to sustain at the European level, at the Council, for example, a policy. Getting back to the visas, it wasn't a thing that we approached directly at the global level. Actually, maybe you know that we don't have a very permanent or strong activity at the global level, because it's the office that is a very important one, because it implements and it coordinates all these programs, classifies and so on, and it maintains the connection with all the cluster and with all the member organization. That's the representative of each organization are meeting twice a year in a big general assembly. It's not maybe the best place to have a lot of discussion and concrete approaches, but maybe in the time we can think through different developments of our organization. Now we are in a final position regarding the new strategy for the next years. We did this. We started this discussion in Bucharest. We had the most consistent discussion in Brussels, and the final point will be the next board meeting. But I am sure that it will be just some final details, and we will have the new strategy for the next years with this occasion in March this year.
Just to take an opportunity to pry a bit into the strategy, is there any advance notes that we can take from that strategy before it is launched in March? Can you give us a preview?
There is no secret because we discussed in openly in the General Assembly, but we try to have a document that is not long, that could be synthetic, and could be understood from anyone, and at the same time not to be, I don't know, theoretically, so not with approach, we should do this, we should do that, but to define what UNIC is and what UNIC does. I think it's a development of the strategy that we have before and won't be breaking news elements. Yes.
Are there any specific priorities in terms of themes?
Yes,
That we focus
yes,
on?
but I want to mention this regarding the strategy and regarding our approach. Again, maybe I say things that you know very good. That we are very interested in partnership with local partners. That that is our approach, and we want to reaffirm this this approach that you pledge in our projects and also pledge maybe in the work of our members that we decide each of ourselves about it to have this cultural relations, so to say, approach to develop cultural relations, not to showcase, not only to showcase cultural projects from our country. So it's this comparison between cultural diplomacy and cultural relations. We want to focus on cultural relations also here, but also everywhere in the world, because there are many places where the access to culture is difficult, where local partners have many constraints to access resources, and where UNIC, but also the research of each institute, will be essential to develop the local cultural infrastructure and local cultural environment. So I think that this is what is the main, not the main objective, but maybe the definition of what UNIC does. In terms of this, I'm sure that general speaking, one of the most important things that are also general accepted is the climate change theme that we want to promote as European value. Of course, we want to promote other European values, not only in classic sense of culture, but in large sense of culture, like freedom of speech, democracy, and so on. We want to promote at the global level also the need to support the states that are choosing the European way. This is a thing that is important for us, for the Romanians, but it's important also at the European level, the access of Republic of Moldova to the European Union, but at the same time the access of Ukraine to the European Union in the context of this Russian aggression and the war that is in Ukraine. You know, I think that we sustain and we have dedicated program for Ukraine in this context, and to sustain the presence of Ukrainian artists around the globe, also to support their message, but also to sustain their chance to creativity and to maintain their activity and work in the cultural field. Scott, please.
I have a follow-up question, if that's okay. But in terms of the U.S., now with the upcoming presidency, do you envisage any problems with the local institutions in terms of partnerships? Probably not so much in
we expect to see who will be the partners of dialogue at the cultural level, and I think that in a way is the same situation like in Europe. Of course, different because we represent Europe and is our definition, but is the same situation that is a change of power in the United States of America, is a change of power in many European countries, is a change of power in many spaces of the globe. Last year was a very super electoral year around the world, so I think again that we have a chance that our work, our projects will be visible and will offer us a chance to position ourselves good. And on the other hand is a challenge that we should follow, because if we lose these opportunities, of course we won't disappear, because it's our institutional and national job, but it's very important how we define our activity this year for the future. It's decisive.
Just a thought on that, if I may, and I'm curious how the rest of you are experiencing this. For instance, you talked about the city. We got to know Kristen in the Cultural Affairs Department. She's already left. I'm getting emails the past week, several weeks, people leaving the State Department with whom we've done a lot of partnering. And so I think there's going to be a transition for sure, and there will be this period of trying to figure out who's on the ground in those places, because those organizations are not going to be gone, and those departments will still be doing things. But the friends we've made and the partnerships we've built are going to have to start again, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I see nodding at you all.
I must say honestly that the goal of my visit here is this participation to the ISPA conference and to ABAP, and I benefit of this chance to have several different meetings here or in Washington, and especially with you, and I'm very grateful to have this occasion, strictly from the point of view of the relation Romania, US, or Europe, US. This is not the best timing, but we will see what will be in the future, and for sure that in the coming time it's important, like I said, to have this active dialogue with all the partners, starting from you, and with some help from us from the continent.
We will try to postpone ISPA and ABAP conferences after January the 20th, but they said the invitations are already sent out, so that we can meet with new people coming in the administration.
What would you say the theme? I was at ISPA for the last 2 days, but the theme at APAP, like, do you say it was like optimistic? I mean, there's a crisis in the performing arts funding, particularly in this city and in many places in this country. Was that a dominant theme in APAP? Because it has been in ISPA.
I think it's worry that is common on this in all the, not only in the performing arts domain, but in for all the people that are active in culture. I think it's a worry that we share also with our colleagues in Europe. Many of us are worried about budget cuts, and not only worried, but these things happen at the national level. I'm personally very worried about what will be Romania with the budget, because we also have a a problem with the deficits. We are number one in European Union right now. The adoption of the budget was postponed for February, so I don't know what will be Romania, but I know that there are very difficult times. So again, I think that it is important to have this common voice, not to, I don't know, again, a personal opinion, not to protest myself. I want a better budget for RCI, but to say this at European level, its culture is important because it's also a political decision. I am for formation an economist, so I understand these problems, and I know that we really have problems with the budget and with the resources. But on the other hand, it's a political decision because in many countries, in all the countries, the budgets for culture, the budgets from the state to the culture are not the first, the biggest ones. So I don't know if these are getting the problems with the deficit and so on. But we should explain the importance of this. We should explain that we produce, that the investment in culture is getting back money to the budget through tourism, through cultural tourism, through, I don't know, other industries. In Romania, the dates are showing that the rate of return is maybe 5 times the investment, so I think it's the case all over Europe. We should have the capacity to explain these things and not look like we are a black hole where we consume money and we don't produce nothing, and also we don't produce education, because I think it's a very important part that we should link together also with the development of the artificial intelligence. That is another thing that we discuss at unique level. And I think we have on the table many arguments in favor of our work, but we really should speak loud about it.
Do you think the UNIC itself, its budget, is in risk? Is it declining? Is it increasing?
It's not declining, but yes, it is in risk because it depends on our budget for each institutions. So, for example, I pledged to the Romanian Cultural Institute 10 years ago for a fixed percentage of money for UNIC, 10% of the money to go to UNIC projects. But of course, that if the budget of the RCI will decrease, also the budget for RCI for UNIC will decrease. Of course, that on a long term, if our institution will work on our budget, I don't know if this translation from Romania is correct. Buget de urgență, buget de nevoie. In a crisis situation of the budget, of course, maybe not of course, but the risk is to skip the European project collaborations because well, our job is to promote the culture of our country, and we should focus on this. But again, I think it's a time where UNIC has to fulfill his mission, to work together, to pledge for partnership, to pledge for opportunities that we offer. The Romanian Cultural Institute has a chance to be present in several parts in the world where we don't have branches because we are not the largest network of institutes. So to explain that the partnership, European collaboration is not only essential but is offering economies and not expansion. But now I think that our contribution for the cluster fund is maintaining the situation in comparison with the last years. That we will try to have continuity with the European funding because we access some European funds also for UNIC cluster fund. And also that depends on the new leadership at the European level and also for our contribution, yes.
And maybe a more practical question, since we're also going to discuss like projects and activities for the upcoming year. I was wondering if you might have a bit of advice or expertise of like good practices that you've seen in other clusters that could inspire us. I don't know if you have any of these examples. What have been very successful events in other clusters?
Well, this is a difficult question because there are hundreds of projects all over the world, and also my opinion could be subjective. So maybe I can have a feedback on a concrete project or discussion. Like I said, we cherish the projects that are connected with the local environment and with local partners that offer also the possibility to have continuity. But that depends on your experience and again, maybe I know very good the project of the cluster in Romania, but there are very different situations between Bucharest and New York. I know the activity of many of our colleagues in the network, but I'm not so connected there to see with the eye of the public what is the unique perception for the general public. When I see the project, maybe I like it. I don't know how it's for the public. But I think it's important to have, again, a personal opinion. I think it's important to have, I don't know how to say, some flagship programs that will put UNIC visible for anyone. So when you go to a partner in the future to know, okay, they did that.
There's no other question. Thank you for this great proposition. Thank you everyone has very good input. And I would now present to you the work that we did